Yeah, we just want to make sure that we, continue to acknowledge the loss of Anthony Mason, um, to the Knicks family and the organization. He obviously meant a lot and means a lot, and in a lot of ways represented, what this city and what this organization is all about. And so, he'll be missed. And, I know Phil's made a statement, and, we'll recognize him today before the start of the game. But, he'll be with us as we go on this season. Um, he embodied a lot of what we're continuing to try and do here. And so we just want to make sure that to his family and his loved ones, that, we let you all know that we're thinking of you, and, the family and loved ones are in our thoughts and our prayers. Just, gritty and, very determined to, get the outcome that he sought. And whatever it took to help his team win, that's what he was willing to do. And, that's a skill and a talent in itself. And, as you try and talk to players about how to play the game and how to, have a role or be selfless within a team, he's one of the guys that quickly comes to mind, that you can always and will always be able to use as an example of how you can be extremely impactful on a team without necessarily scoring 20 points a game. We don't know much about a timetable. I think at this point he'll be, now that we, know that it's a strain and hopefully not a major strain, one that'll have him out too long. The doctors will kind of start to formulate a plan with him and start to try and figure out what's the best way to proceed. This is a really intense month for us coming up in terms of our game schedule. So I think we'll have to be really smart about, when we try to get him back, because there won't be really any days for practices prior to getting him back out in the game. So this will take some some real thought, but I know he wants to get back as soon as possible. So hopefully that's the case. We'll start the same group that we started last night with Langston and Tim and Cleanthony, along with Andrea and Lou up front, and then we'll just start platooning guys in there and keeping bodies fresh. Guys really gave it everything they had last night, and I think they intend to come back and do the same tonight. Last night was a double overtime game, so that's 58 total minutes, and nobody played more than 36 of those 58. So they have no excuses for, not coming out and giving the same fight and intensity to the game tonight.
Before the game, you said you wanted to see Bargnani sustain that aggressiveness when you run the offense through him. How much did you see of that last night?
Yeah, he was really good from that standpoint last night. He's continuing to get comfortable, within the offense and where those opportunities will be for him. And his versatility makes that a lot easier because he can pretty much play anywhere on the floor. But he had an aggressive mentality. Detroit's a physical team up front, and Andrea didn't back away from that at any time. And we're excited to just continue to see where he can go as he gets more comfortable and continues to get some rhythm in his game. And I think he was very loud and clear about how much he likes to start, based on his performance last night. So we'll see how it goes tonight and going forward.
What does that Calderon injury mean for you, your point guard depth, and how you have to kind of manage that position?
Well, it's always unfortunate timing, to have an injury at any position. I guess we can kind of count our lucky star, so to speak, that we may have kind of been able to pull something off. And Alexi looks like he can be a solid player within, our system. And he did some really good things again last night after getting off to a slow start in the first half really well. And so with Jose, being out in the short term, it obviously put Shane right back in the fire right away. He performed really well last night. Langston will have to continue to carry a heavy load. But Alexi is a guy that, will have to continue to get up to speed as quickly as possible, because he's going to need to be able to handle the ball for us and make some decisions out there.
You have that open roster spot from your perspective. Do you feel the need to bring another body in, or do you feel you can get by with what you have right now?
No, I mean, I don't know if it's a need. I think that, our front office will continue to kind of evaluate our current roster and, if there's someone out there that they feel like is worth kind of introducing to our group in terms of, the chemistry and the connection that a lot of our guys already have, then we'll talk about that at that time. Whether it's a need or not, I'm not sure. I would venture to bet there aren't many guys just sitting out there that's going to change your whole season around, that we can find on the street right now. So I think for us, it's about just staying focused on who we are and the guys we have. And, Phil and Steve and, Allen, they're continuing to take a look at some guys that might be out there. And, if somebody comes on board, we'll get them in there as much as we can as well.
Building off of that, Derek, I know you're focused on the team right now, but the college tournaments are coming up and everything. Any themes that you send up to Phil and Steve and Allen as they intensify their scouting in terms of just input for them to help them in what they're looking at?
No, I mean, we have internal conversations, about what we're trying to do and the type of people, as well as players that we'd like to have as we go forward. And, that's all the conversation that I need to have, as a coach. My commitment is to the guys we have right now, and the front office has a different job than what I do. And so, I've been clear about, the type of players and people that I like to have on a team, and we'll continue to have those conversations as we go through the spring and summer. And, Phil's obviously very smart about how to build a basketball team. And, Steve and Allen have the experience here in New York and with the Knicks. And, I think we're trying to continue to find that balance on how we all work together to make the right decisions.
Before the season, we thought that Andrea would be an intriguing player for the triangle because his skill set obviously kind of like that. How do you think he's adjusting to the triangle? And is that what you kind of envisioned before the season that what he's giving you now?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a short, kind of sample size or a small sample size, Andrea's showing the things that we thought he'd be able to do. Not because of the offense or with the offense, but because he is a multi-talented, multi-skilled player. He can handle the ball, he can shoot the ball. His size is obviously a gift, being able to kind of play as a wing player sometimes, not just a big. So I don't think we're surprised at, the potential that he's showing to really excel, with our team playing out of this format. But that's because of how good he is, not necessarily because of, the format itself. And so I think as he continues to gain confidence in himself physically and mentally, that he can go out and play hard every night and sustain that effort, and be able to compete, I think we'll continue to see even more of the potential that he has in him.
Anthony was around some of the players in recent seasons. Was he around any of your guys this year that you know of?
Not that I knew of for sure. We've really worked hard to try and, kind of give our players an environment at our training center now that's a little less crowded. And so, from years past, I hadn't seen it for myself in terms of how many former players and former Knicks were around and coming up to practice, et cetera. But, I think Anthony was just a guy that just loved being around the game and loved being around people. And whenever you did see him, he was always very open and just a warm personality, warm person to be around. So I'm not sure how many of our guys, got to spend a lot of time around him personally. Many guys were barely born, when he was excelling as a player. And so a lot of times, which is unfortunate, we don't always appreciate, who a person was and what they stood for until they're gone. And maybe some of our players that are playing now, we'll get a chance to understand and embrace more of what Anthony Mason stood for and how much of that we still need to be carrying with us right now and going forward as we try and turn this organization around. Yep.